Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Lyric from Lovely Lyric Games, and welcome back to episode 1 of our first Planet Zoo franchise mode zoo, which is going to be our Barnyard Rescue. Okay, so I've thought about this a little bit. This first zoo, I definitely want to be like a smaller starter zoo. I feel like lore-wise for the franchise that makes sense, because we are going to be more sanctuary based, as you can see behind my little face. We're going to probably plop down in temperate North America, I think, to start, mostly because I'm from North America, so it is just easiest to do that. We'll do flat terrain, and we did get some conservation credits for logging on, so we should have a even, I think just the Barnyard Rescue will be a good name. And we'll go on hard mode. I think that'll be fine. And let's just jump right in. So we're going to, in this episode, I want to really focus on setting up the entrance area and maybe the first habitat, which I think will be for the chickens. I really want chickens in real life. I don't have any yet, obviously. I can't afford a home that would allow me to have chickens, but eventually, in real life, I really want to have chickens in my yard, so I think starting with them would just be a lot of fun. So we just basically get a big plot of land, starting funds of 40k, we have 300 conservation credits, and these conservation credits and any research we do, moving forward from the zoo, will roll over between zoos. So first things first, we want to set up a way to get into the zoo. I kind of think it would be fun to have more of a little natural pathway. Like that. Okay. And what I think we'll do, if we come a decent bit away, I think the entry path, even though this is probably going to be a smaller zoo, we still want to be decently big. So how far do I have to go for this circle to pop up? So if we do that and sort of... Can we connect this? No. Okay. The pathing in this game is a little jank. One of the biggest reasons I'm excited to know that they're working on a sequel for this game is so they can freaking fix the pathing system. Okay. What about... Now, I don't know why it doesn't want to auto-place. We can fix that in a little bit. So I do want to have a little bit of a walkway down. And then I'm kind of thinking... I want to kind of go with a couple side walkways. And I think it would be fun if we have a little mini path that ventures off to this side. That will sort of be a plaza. Okay, 26 doesn't want to work. What about 23? No, is there a way we can... There. Okay, that... Nope. Okay, that's probably as good as we're gonna get that. I think over here I want to have like an info center and maybe a couple... I don't think we're going to have a full souvenir shop in this thing. But I think just having this little offshoot to try and avoid some traffic will be helpful. We're also going to need to get our basic staff facilities up, which I think we might put over towards this way. We can kind of have this little area that's jut out, be our little staff path. something big like that should be enough to let us get the main facilities in. And actually what I might do, now that I'm thinking about it, a lot of people don't show this process, but I figure for that little entry area, I can kind of show how we're doing pathing, and maybe we'll make the, nope. We will make the other pathway, not that thin. Let's just do, we can make it just 20 feet and sort of have it come, and maybe we'll have it branch off there so this main path doesn't get too messed up, and then we can just fix the terrain with grass. We just do that. Bada bang, bada boom. You'll never even know I had a path there. Okay. So I think our first exhibit is going to be chickens, but first, to make the zoo function, we need some staff buildings. So let's start with that. Okay. For the sake of maximizing our money, as we are a brand new zoo, we are going to put down little naked buildings that are kind of ugly. Eventually, we can make them not be so ugly. But for the start, I think you may just have to do this. And these do actually have negative impacts on guests, so we don't want them to be too close to the pathway. So that should be far enough where it won't impact our guests in any way, shape, or form. We can trigger the heat map back off. So quarantine, trade center, staff room is usually good to have right away. Same thing with a keeper hut, research center, and a vet surgery, and a workshop. These are just going to be essential to making sure our zoo is functional. We can just put the little keeper hut right there. And then we'll just do research and workshop, and then we'll be nice and set up. Okay. So that should be a decent bit to start. Now, animal trading, we are going to come not to alpacas or sheep, but we want to do the Sussex chicken. I believe is the breed that is in this game. Yes. And if we open the Zoopedia, we will see their social group is 2 to 80, up to 8 males, up to 79 females. So we're going to want more females than males, and we're going to probably want a decent group. Because we're focused on being an ethical zoo, right? Male and female, please. Okay. Gold Star Rooster, that's pretty good. I like the Silver Star Rooster too. We're gonna spend the few conservation credits to get the Gold Star guy. And maybe we'll get the silver or the bronze. I think we're gonna get silver because these traits are harder to get higher in the size and longevity, whereas fertility and immunity, I think, can vary some. We have 2 guys. I think that's enough for now. Let's look at females. So these ones are coming from the same zoo as the other one. You have to be careful in franchise mode. Sometimes you can get chickens who come from the same zoo and then they will inbreed, and you don't want that. So we have, so far, 4 chickens. I think that will be enough for a start. But like I said, there can be up to 80 adults. So we're going to want, and the whole point of this franchise, if you didn't watch my intro video, no worries, you didn't miss anything. We want to make a more ethical, quote-unquote, zoo. So we want to make sure we have a good bit of land. In the exhibits, we don't want them to be cramped. We want to be focused on giving them high-quality experiences. So what we can do before we place down any barriers is kind of set up the size of our zoo. Or the size of this exhibit, at least. And we're going to want that to maybe just come along this back end. I'm trying to see. I don't want to make it too big. But the nice thing is about this part initially is eventually, if we just do that and we throw a habitat gate, say we throw it on the back for the keepers to enter in, we can terrain. No, we can staff path that. Okay. Now we should be able to click on this barrier and see how big the habitat is. So it's about 14,000 feet. I think we might expand it just a little more in case the herd size gets a bit bigger. That could be good for now, but we might just tweak it a little bit. I might just pull a couple sections of this more forward, like so, and then maybe we can pull that out, and if we exit that, okay, that's closer to like 1750 feet. I think that should be a big enough exhibit, because realistically we're probably not going to get all the way to the max size, so that should be okay. I'm going to kind of just set the path up to be along here. It might make it just slightly bigger, and then what we will do is we will start building a fence. I think I want to try and do a more custom fence, like enclosure. So make a custom barrier, not use one of these standards. But first thing is first, we should really quickly put down our basic staff, because this is our first zoo. So we will throw a keeper down, caretaker, mechanic, and a vet. We can wait on security and education. And let's refresh the trading menu, see if there's any more chickens available from different zoos. Nuggets. Nuggets seems to be the main chicken dealer. Okay, let's look at these frontier chickens. She's not great. Okay. Taglin could be worse. Oh, do we only have 4? Did we not get that other male? So we could go for another good male chicken. Although there don't seem to be any who are too particularly appealing, so I think we'll just wait on that until after we build the habitat. So what I am going to do is I am going to, I think, build the barrier and do the barrier placement. And then I will come as like a little montage. You guys will see that. And then when I'm decorating maybe the rest of the habitat, I might also build their shelter and do like terraforming with the train. But after that, I think I will come back and we can talk through enrichment, check for trading, etc. Alright, well that is the custom barrier for our chickens done. So first thing first, we're gonna jump back to the market, see if there's anything. This is a good male from Frontier Zoo, so we might grab him. We'll definitely grab that silver lady. We'll grab her as well. So we have 2 males, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 females. I would like to maybe have a slightly bigger group before we start. But like I said, everything kind of depends. Terrain, I think I might make it a little more hilly towards the back here. And maybe slightly flatter near the front. That way we're kind of working on... I just want to have some interest. I don't really want the chickens to be in a super hilly environment. That doesn't really make... I mean, they might be in a decently hilly environment in the wild, but they're not, I don't think, mountain creatures, naturally. And I just gave them a little water area. We'll give them a water pump as well, so they'll have something to drink from, but I figured it might not be a bad idea. Just to let them have access to the water in case any of them would like to go for a swim for whatever reason. Might not be a bad idea to throw a water pump in the vicinity either. Water treatment, we could throw that there just to make sure it stays nice and clean. Great, we have about 19,000 to work with. This building should serve as shelter for them, but under the habitat, we are going to come in here and put down some of this bedding in here, just to sort of serve as a nice little area for the chickens to be. Now, if we go into food and water and we filter by the Sussex chicken, it should just show us automatically what they need to be happy, which is critical for what we're trying to do. So we'll do the water pipe because this doesn't need to be refilled by zookeepers. I think we'll kind of do it towards the front and center of the habitat here. Maybe we'll smooth out the terrain here to make it just a little easier to access. Make it look a little more natural, not too harsh. For food, we can maybe put in front of the home, the little shelter. So a feeding platform, we can give them the 4. And we can just throw that there on this slightly flatter land. Alright, and that just makes it a little more interesting. Because most exhibits you look at aren't just flat land when you go to a zoo, right? So that should be for their basics. I don't know if we have any enrichment unlocked yet. We don't. So what we're going to do is once we place them down in the zoo, we'll be able to purchase some enrichment items. Okay. And we should look at what the Sussex chicken needs for environment. So they originally came from Europe, even though they're now worldwide. So we're probably going, in terms of nature, we do want to make sure they have some plants. So we'll come content Europe and then tropical, grassland, temperate, and taiga. Tropical, grassland, temperate, and taiga. Grassland, taiga, temperate, tropical. So these should be all of the plants that would naturally occur in their range. I don't know how much coverage they like, so we might wait for a minute, but I want to start with just a couple trees in the vicinity. A weeping willow back by the little water. Maybe in this corner right there would be nice. Because that way it kind of walks over the pathway too. I'd love to put some ivy on the coop. Oh, maybe we could throw a couple hedges by the coop. Just like that, and then let's... just a little bit of ivy here. That just gives a little bit extra detail on the front, so the shelter is not quite so boring. Alright, and we'll leave it with that for now. Trading, let's see, are there any other... Okay, well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 8 chickens, which I believe is their minimum size. Oh no, their minimum size is 2, but we have 8. So I think that's a decent start, and we can keep working on expanding to get more chickens. So let's take all of these animals and run them to our quarantine. And our zoo, we should look at. We currently are open from 5 to 11, which I think is okay. Our most appealing species is the chickens, which is brand new. And since the chickens should be in the zoo, we can now maybe start vet research on them. Okay, not quite yet. Mechanic research. So this is going to be important for us to know. Now, there's a lot of good options, because this is our first franchise of things we could search. But I think let's start with shelter and climbing. It wouldn't be a bad idea either to research more barriers, because I don't know if I'll be making a custom barrier for every creature. I just felt like it would be nice to sort of have more of a fence for chickens. And we could reuse this fence all throughout the zoo if we wanted to, as long as it would work. Now, in terms of facilities, let's come to guest facilities. We're going to maybe want an information center. I think having one off of here would be nice. And a merchandise shop as well could be nice. And honestly, it wouldn't be a terrible idea to maybe put a restroom there, but I think those two for now will at least be a start. Our zoo is open, although we don't have a lot of people coming in yet. So we don't have any animals yet, because they are wrapping up quarantine. Alright. Well, 2 of them have passed, so we'll send the first 2 in here, and then as the rest wrap up their quarantine, we can move them into the exhibit. Yeah, quarantine is full, yada yada. Okay, so as the quarantine pass, the keeper is running our first chicken here. And this will be good for a variety of things. So let's pause. Okay. We have our first chicken. Can I click on him? Usually you can click on the animals. I don't know if he's all the way loaded in yet. There we go. Okay. So what we're going to do really quick, while we're on facilities, is we should put down some donation bins, because that is one way to make money. People will donate to your zoo. And I think for this zoo, let's kind of go with maybe a more brown donation bin. Maybe a little more tan. And then maybe more of a dark brown. Yeah, that's neat. So since they might get some viewing on this side, I'll throw one here. And then there is not a limit to how many of these you put down. And the more you put down, the more likely you guys start to donate. So we are going to place these pretty freely along the exhibit, especially because this is probably going to be our main exhibit for a while. And now we want to look into our chickens. So now that the chickens are in the zoo, we're going to want our vet researching them. And plants. Okay. You want to edit the terrain to fit them more. So let's... I always like to do more soil by the shelters. I think that's realistic because it would be a high traffic area. We can leave a little bit of grass there. We can throw some sand maybe over by the water. Maybe a little bit by the shelter because a lot of chickens will like dust baths. Maybe we'll make the inside. I think it would be good to have heavy soil. But we can have some sand sort of along there, and then this can kind of just be like chicken beach. That can be more chicken beach. We can have some coarser sand maybe by the water. And some rock in there too. Cool. Okay, we replaced the water. That's good. We have plenty of land. Okay, and they want more sand and soil. So we're just gonna go kind of crazy with this scenery brush. I'm even gonna make it a bit bigger, try and make this go by slightly quicker for you all. Because we want our animals' welfare to be the priority, so that means getting rid of any bits of the terrain they don't love. Now, I'm okay with leaving a little bit of the long grass I do want to leave, I think, is by the food. And we can maybe... I kind of want to blend the sand and this some, so shrinking the intensity will maybe make it a bit smoother. Okay, cool. Let's come back to nature. So they're okay with quite a bit of coverage, which I like because I definitely want some good trees. Okay, beech tree. We could throw maybe towards the back. I don't want to do too many, but I think it's important to have some trees because realistically birds like this, they would settle in the wild near some trees because trees offer a good bit of protection from various elements, things like that. We can throw an elm tree there too. Tree like that is quite pretty. It's quite different though. Okay, that's some trees. I think I might want to move this tree. Not super happy with where I put that actually, so we can throw that one there. All right. And now let's do some things like maybe some... Could throw some little flowers down here. Asters are freaking gorgeous. I'd love to put some maybe by the tree there. Apple tree. Whoa. Some bushes. Some bracken we can maybe put along here. Tree stump would be something different. We do want to maybe set up some rocks too. Some moss we can maybe put by the pine tree. Like so. We can maybe throw a couple of these dried bushes down. Some cornflower we can maybe put over here. It's just a little pop of color for the guests. It gives some extra visual interest. You know. Okay. Different bushes. Just trying to make it look like nature hates bare land, so trying to just add a few different points of interest of different plants I think are really beneficial. Especially when animals allow for greater plant coverage. I think things like that really help bring something to life. I think we have a gap here we might want to fill. So yeah, we could do some hawthorn bushes. Lord and Lady's plant. Sure, we can throw a couple of those down. Here's some little flowers there would be nice. Maybe something in this back corner. Yeah, like these little flowers here are absolutely gorgeous. That'll just be a little patch, add some decoration there. Some of these daisies. Maybe we'll add one more patch of something over here. Yeah, we can throw some poppies over by their shelter. And that should be enough plants. I think we should do some rocks now, just again, for some realism. Like here, I think would be a good spot for a rock in the ground. Because the land is never flat, you know, there's almost always some rocks somewhere. And that just makes the environment more realistic, both for the guests to see and for our birds to experience. And I think that is really one of the more important things about making a ethical zoo, is making sure these habitats have some interest in the layout and different textures for the animals to explore, different sensory input. Like I said, I think that is quite important. Now, maybe it's just me, but that's how I play the game, and if you don't like it, you don't need to watch, so look at that. Okay. And we can maybe put something towards the back here. Yeah, that would work. And maybe something over here, and then that would be enough rock. Now, let's kind of turn that, maybe. There. Aw. Okay. I like that. I'm a fan of that. So let's kick this speed up. Because as our quarantine is passing... Okay, everyone in quarantine currently is passed, so we'll get these moved in. And typically, merchandise like this is a good way to make some cash early in the game. We still have about 10,000 gold left, or $10,000 left. I'm so used to different games using gold as a currency that... Okay, you can maybe come. Alright, I don't want to get too many, but I want to make sure we have a decent sized social group. And we have some people starting to float into our zoo, so I think... Look, a little visiting player will say hi. That gets us some extra conservation credits. Where do you think you escaped from? That might just be how the barrier is placed. I suppose the view of the chicken from here is fine. Yeah, so I just want to... We're just gonna tweak those. Okay, now the chicken shouldn't be giving us... Okay, they completed their first research on the chicken, which should have unlocked something for enrichment, which we want to get down immediately. Okay, Sussex chicken. Okay. Let's look and see. Okay, slow feeder. You know, that's something. We can kind of tuck some of these, maybe buy some of the plants we put down. Okay, we have 2 of those down. That should be something. Okay, where... I don't think you're escaped. You're actually in the habitat. Sometimes the null barriers can be slightly glitchy. And let's actually rename this habitat while we're at it. To be our Sussex chicken. Oh, and my cap locks is messed up. Whoopsies. Okay, so we have that done. And, okay, I think our zoo is in okay shape. We are making a bit of a profit. It might not be anything too crazy, but... What do you mean animals escaped? Animal has not escaped. Animal is in pen. Okay, so this part of the barrier is being a problem. Okay. There. Okay, we can kind of tweak that. That research completed again. Okay, so what we're going to want to do scent marker. Okay, this is another enrichment item. Maybe we'll throw one in by those flowers. What? I don't want it to be floating. Like one by the moss here. Okay, we can start with that. Vet research completed again. Oh, we're about to have our first baby. Ooh, a mirror mobile. Okay, that's fun. Let's put that right there. Do we have the baby? Yes, we had our first. Oh, and she's good. Oh, guys, look, we have baby chickens. We have multiple. So we have Louise. Let's look at her genetics. Oh, wow. Okay, she's not bad at all. Let's look at... Oh, he's a male. And he actually has decent genetics as well. Who is he also? Okay, so Aura had 2 little babies. Look at that. Whoa. Aren't they so beautiful, guys? Look at them. They're frolicking in this land. They're a big group. Hanging out together. Some different enrichment for them. Our vets are flying through the research for them, which is quite nice because the more they do that... Okay, they have a forage box. Now, this is a big enrichment item, which we might put somewhere near the back because it typically, like I said, it messes up the territory, or, the terraforming. So, usually when I put that down, I try to put it somewhere less edited. Okay, and habitat, they like the sprinkler too. I think it makes the most sense to have the sprinkler down by the water, and then maybe we can throw one over in this corner by the grass as well. Yes, okay, we can hire a security guard. We're having enough profit where I think a security guard is an okay investment. Okay. We have a VIP guest at our zoo. Look at that. And saying hello gets us some extra vet research. Okay. Oh, this is the sprinkler. That's a bubble machine. Whoa. Okay, let's look at this bubble machine then. The bubble machine, we can put that right there. Oh, and our first mechanic research is done. So we unlock some more shelter options. I think we are going to work on maybe some barriers then. Because now if we come to habitat and shelters, we have some extra pre-made shelters. We will be using these quite a bit. I wanted to make like something that looked a little more coop-like for chickens, but clearly building's not my forte in this game. Okay. So I think we're in a decent spot with our guys here. So if you guys are liking this series so far, please let me know. I'm quite excited. I love this game. I love watching like the little baby animal run. Oh, here, let's slow down for a minute. Look at him. Look at this baby. So if you guys are enjoying this series, please like, comment, subscribe. These videos do take a little more effort for me to make. So if you guys really enjoy them, I don't mind, but I would love to hear that feedback. So please like, subscribe. I'm very excited to keep filming for this. And I will catch you all in our next episode of Planet Zoo: The Barnyard Rescue. Bye!